Let's begin. God morning. Let's go. Deep breath. You are in the circle with us in a course in miracles. We are on a 365-day marathon. This is day 266. Welcome. Welcome to a calm mind. Welcome to a peaceful spirit. Welcome to vitality, health, and youthfulness. Welcome to dreams fulfilled. Welcome to wisdom and knowing what to do, when to do it, who to do it with. Welcome to the fulfillment of your creative self, pouring your gifts, your love into this universe of life. Welcome to love, our true home. Welcome to perfection, abundance, beauty, wealth, success, winning, and all the while doing it humbly without allowing the ego to drive the car. Welcome to your new life. It's delicious. And so there is the opportunity to give thanks, the opportunity to abide in deep gratitude, appreciation for all we have. The appreciation run deep. And we breathe deeply. Opening our eyes, we engage A Course in Miracles, lesson 266. Good morning. How was your fall equinox? How was your fall equinox? This weekend, new moon in Libra. Yay, Libra. That's me. Good morning, God morning, God morning. Welcome. And we're saying God morning because this is held at 7 a.m. Eastern Time each morning. And yet we know that you may be watching it at any time. Welcome, whatever time it is for you or where you are. If my eyes are puffy, that's because I just woke up about 20 minutes ago. I got a good rest. Jocelyn, how you loving? Is it Jocelyn or Jocelyn? Is that Jocelyn? Our Jocelyn? It's been magical and healing. Good morning, Darla, Ashley, Monique. How you loving? How you loving? How you loving? Let's get in here, family. We're doing it. It's been quite an adventure. My 2023 goes in the record books. Oh, Jocelyn, how you loving? Mwah, miss you, Jocelyn. I usually hear you on Clubhouse. Happy to see you on YouTube. Family, we do this on 4 platforms every morning. The Valerie Love YouTube channel. If you're so inclined and you like to stay in touch, then absolutely do what's required to stay in touch on YouTube. They change it frequently, so do whatever they have for you to do to stay in touch with the channel. And by the way, in the class that I'm teaching, the next classes that I'm teaching, the set of classes I'm teaching the first week of October, they're on my website at valerielove.com. YouTube is about to offer the ability for channel creators to have courses and people pay for it on YouTube as a playlist. I mean, YouTube is, these are super boss moves. We're on 4 platforms every morning: the Valerie Love YouTube channel, the Christian Witches YouTube channel. Connect with the Christian Witches YouTube channel by all means. And we are also on the Reverend Valerie Love Facebook fan page and the Christian Witches Clubhouse Club. So connect with us anywhere. If ever one of the platforms is doing something, go to one of the other platforms, because once in a while, there may be something going on with one platform and we're on 4 platforms. So yay. Here's our lesson for today. Lesson 266. Ooh, this is going to end all not getting along with other people right here. If it hasn't happened already for you in the 265 days, here's day 266. My holy self, capital S self, my holy self, abides in you, God's Son. Are we getting what that means? It means your holy self abides in your sisters and brothers and others. Your holy self abides in them. Father, here's our prayer. In the italics and in the regular font is our thought for the day. So the italic in these portion of the lessons, toward the end, the italics are prayers. Father, you gave me all your sons. Can you imagine? God gave you all the children that God has ever had to be my saviors and my counselors in sight, the bearers of your holy voice to me, which means that every single person you have ever met, will ever meet, ever encountered is a holy voice of God. Even the mean ones, the cruel ones, the liars, the cheaters, the backstabbers, in them are you reflected. And in them does Christ look back upon me from myself. In them are you reflected. In our holy brothers and sisters, we see the reflection of God. And in them does Christ look back upon me from myself. So imagine there's one self, and it's in all the selves. And when you look at a brother, a sister, sisters, brothers, and others, when you look at one, you are looking at your holy self reflected to you. And you feel it, and you know it. Let not your son forget your holy name. Let not your son forget his holy source. Let not your son forget his name is yours. We get to remember. We get to remember. We get to remember. That's basically it. We get to remember. Pardon me. This day, we enter into paradise. I'm in Florence, Italy, overlooking, pardon me, Florence. I see paradise. I see paradise. This day we enter paradise, calling upon God's name and on our own, acknowledging ourself in each of us. Pardon me. Acknowledging ourself, capital S self, in each of us. United in the holy love of God. Not separated, not divided, united. How many saviors God has given us? Everyone is a savior. How many saviors has God given us? How can we lose the way to him when he has filled the world with those who point to him and given us the sight to look on them? This is a radically different way of looking at the world. And yesterday, Holy Spirit took me someplace very interesting. That is this lesson is exactly pertaining to. It took me to a room where they had a panel discussion here on Clubhouse. And the panel discussion was Christian people and Hebrew Israelites. And the Hebrew Israelites were saying something really intriguing and fascinating. And I hadn't really sat down and really listened to Hebrew Israelites. I hadn't, I've been around Hebrew Israelites a lot. As a matter of fact, in Washington, D.C., there is a place called Everlasting Life. That's Dr. Baruch's creation, Everlasting Life, and amazing restaurants that feed us vegan soul food. And I mean, this food is so good, it slap your mama. Like they got the just like that place in New Orleans, that Soul Cafe. They got they got this vegan food and the soul food. They got it. Now some places, not really. They're trying to get it. Keep practicing, keep working on it. You'll get there one day. Uh, Soul food, Everlasting Life is like that. Like people stand online, and Everlasting Life is in the middle of a black place. This one that we used to go to is on Central Avenue, up not far, a couple of miles up the road from where we used to live in Bowie. And this food is, and this was all Hebrew Israelites. They worked there. I don't know if Dr. Baruch is actually Hebrew Israelite. I don't know. Dr. Baruch is very, very profound teacher, and definitely look up Dr. Baruch. Well, we used to eat there all the time. We used to have events there all the time, everything. And this place was smack dab in the middle of what you would, not really the hood. Uh, it's not really the hood, but it's a lot of black people, and there's a big concentration of black people there because it's right there in what we would call Prince George's County, and Prince George's County is like a concentration of black people. And a lot of Hebrew Israelite people work there. And I would see them all the time. I would see the women with the garb and all the time, all the time. And it's amazing that we can be around people and they served us food. They always took care of us. They gave us good food. It was good. It was very good. We had a lot of events there. They would have the place clean. Everything would be great. And you never know what they're thinking. Well, yesterday, and I grew up also in Harlem. And in Harlem, we had some Hebrew Israelites, but we more had the 5%ers. Well, yesterday, I got to hear what they were thinking. And I thought, oh my, I did not know. I think I knew it on one level. I didn't know the depth of what the Hebrew Israelites were really talking about. And if that's for you to, if you want to find out, go find out. And when I listened in the room, I sat there and listened. And I was intrigued. I was amazed that I was so ignorant about these things when this is what I do. And I knew Spirit let me hear what I heard yesterday. And I was being with it. What is this, universe? What is this? Right? I was being with it. And now today I have the answer. That's why you heard what you heard yesterday, so that you could remember this, and you could remember this about everyone, so that we can all remember it. That there's no other self, there's no separate self, there's no people out there, there's no somebody out there that you need to not get along with, treat differently. There's no distinctions. God is all. There's not a spot where God is not. God is all. I found out for myself. Because I know some ratchet black people and some ratchet white people. I know some lovely white people. I know some lovely black people. That's the same for all people. Been to China, Hong Kong, all these different places all over the world. Not all over the world. I've been to, fairly few. Throughout Latin America, live in Mexico. There's wonderful Mexican people. The ones that I know. And I'm sure there's Mexican people that are unsavory. What is on the outside of people does not determine the person's spiritual essence. And when we use books like the Bible or some book to justify our irregard or disregard for a source, our mother, father, God, source, spirit that is in all and everywhere present at the same time, then that's a growth opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to deepen in growth and deepen in wisdom and deepen in understanding. Because there are many people on this planet convinced, I used to be one of them, that I'm right and other people are wrong. And because I'm right, I'm winning, I'm going up, I'm favored by the God of all the people. There's no such thing as the God of all the people. It's God of your understanding. And there's no such thing as one thing that works for everybody, because one thing doesn't work for everybody, because you have billions of people and different things work for different people. So do not allow a holy book to allow you to not experience God. That's what I was doing. I allowed a holy book, the Bible, which by the way, I used yesterday in an amazing house blessing experience that I had here in Max Tucci's beautiful home here in Florence, Italy. Do not use the Bible or any holy book, the Quran or the Book of Mormon, which I'm currently reading. Do not allow any holy book to cause you to not experience God everywhere you go. If you never read a holy book and your head wasn't filled with all this information, you would simply go about experiencing and you would have experiences. Some would be wonderful, some would be not wonderful. You would not be able to pin all your bad experiences on any one group of people. And you would not likewise be able to associate all your good experiences with one group of people. My holy self abides in you, God's son. My holy self abides in you, God's daughter. My holy self abides in you, Chinese young boy. My holy self abides in you, Nigerian teenager. My holy self abides in you, the Irish woman I met the other day. My holy self abides in you. It's the same holy self. Don't let the ego draw you into separation. You will for sure lose yourself and you will lose your soul. I'm coming to you from Max Tucci's home, beautiful home here in Florence, Italy, where I'm having the time of my life on this. I don't have the words to describe what is happening. It's above my pay grade. I don't have the words to describe what's happening right now. I only know that my spirit team is taking me very methodically through a series of initiations, through a series of experiences that when I left my home in Mexico a couple of months ago, I didn't know if I was going back or when I was going back. Now I know I'll go back. I didn't know if I was going back. I was completely open. I was Abraham. And I've had experiences where, because I'm nomadic, I'm a gypsy soul. So I've had experiences where I've gone from place to place to place. Never like this in my entire life. No itinerary, no return trip, no idea of the next destination, no idea of where to stay, what to do. I'm completely letting spirit do it, even though I have ideas of where I want to go. I want to go there. I want to go there. I don't let the ideas of where I want to go supersede where the divine is taking me next, because this week I would have been somewhere else. Whereas this is where I'm to be. So I say, I would love that. I would love that. And it's not like I'm not getting what I love, because when I get what spirit has for me, it's even better than I had considered, hoped for, or or had in my mind, pardon me, it's better. So I left Mexico, but I didn't leave Mexico. I took a plane from Mexico. I didn't leave it. You don't leave places, right? I took a plane from Mexico. I went to DC. And then, once I got to DC, I got to hang with my daughter before she went back to college. And we got to have so much fun, summer fun. And we got the Bitcoin event for the day. Incredible with our Ascension members, a free event. Another free event is coming up for Ascension members too. I'll talk about it very soon. And we got to go the next day. So then I went Mexico, DC. Then the next day we went to Philly for my other daughter's, my big daughter's event, goddess event, spectacular. And wow, we took so many pictures at the Selfie Content Museum, and I taught on why we don't show up like we need to. It's because we're in fear and we're in shame, and that causes us to be little. So then from Philly, then my got to see the family, hang with the family. Then my smaller daughter and I, she's not smaller. Well, she is smaller in stature. My younger daughter and I, went back to DC, and then she takes me to Virginia, where I flew to Egypt. So first I was on a multi-location experience in the US with people I love, friends, family, the Ascension members, members of my daughter's goddess community at her goddess event. And then I went across the pond, and there was no one I knew at all. And it's been like that for 2 months up until yesterday when I saw Max Andrew de Rosier at the train station, which I talked about that miracle yesterday. So Egypt for almost a month. I knew one thing, Egypt. One-way ticket to Egypt, which I already had. Okay. That's all I know. Now, where you're staying, what you're going to do, what you're going to see. I had an idea because I know I'm writing this book about Egyptian magic and Egyptian mysticism and Egyptian spirituality. I get to Egypt, there for almost a month, just shocked at Egypt. It's shocking when you first go to Egypt. It's shocking. Did the Nile River cruise, pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, went up in the pyramid. What? Humans didn't make this. Saqqara, the step pyramid, was gifted some alabaster from Saqqara. I mean, just then Luxor, Aswan, Temple of Philae, Kamumbo. I mean, Karnak temples, the Luxor temples. I mean, after I did all that and Nile River cruise, I had to sit down for a few minutes because it was so mind blowing and so far off from anything I have ever seen on this planet, with the exception of there are a couple of things I've seen on this planet that were like the pyramids of Giza. Two of them that I have seen, laid my eyes on, put my hands on, and felt the reverberation, experienced. That is the city of no, yeah. Well, all of these other experiences, they're in the two locations I'm going to tell you about. They're not just two places. They are in two countries, Mexico and Peru. In Mexico, many ancient cities. And one of them is the ancient city of Teotihuacan, Teotihuacan, which is outside of Mexico City. And Teotihuacan will have you just, what? And the other ancient cities in Mexico also are Uxmal and Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza, a lot of people know because people go there. Millions of people go to Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza is just packed. It's always just crawling with people. It's one of the seven wonders of the world. That kind of thing, like what you see at Teotihuacan with these huge pyramids, the pyramids of Teotihuacan match the same 15-degree axis as the pyramids in Egypt. Now I'm going to see if they're in the same ley line. I'm going to put it all in the book for you. I'm putting I'm connecting the dots because there are dots to be connected here. So only two other locations on this planet have I experienced. No, let me say three because now another one is coming to mind. So in Mexico, those three ancient cities specifically that I mentioned, Teotihuacan, um, Uxmal, and of course Chichen Itza, which is world famous. Then if you go into Peru, there's a wall there. And they say the Inca built it, yet this is before the Inca. And this wall has these same giant stones that are just so heavy to lift, etched perfectly, inscribed, and perfectly fitted together, all of these giant stones, which would lead us to believe that the people, quote unquote, if we believe what they tell us, we would have to believe that ancient stone men were making these things, that if the ancient cavemen were making these stones, and we would have to believe that these people that they tell us were going, couldn't speak and were bent over and half looked like monkey and half looked like human, we would have to believe that they made things that we can't even make today. See, that story does not fit. It doesn't fit, family. A lot of pieces of the story don't fit. A lot of things in the Bible don't fit. So, what is really going on? It means you must go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper so that you see the underlying wisdom. Understand. You can stand under it and see what's really going on. The third place that I saw something like this that was indescribable is Dragon Gate Grotto in China. Go there. Yeah, the story has missing pieces, City Love University. Oh my goodness, that story got so many missing pieces. And guess what? The missing pieces from the Bible come from Egypt. If you go to Egypt, if you put together the different pieces of the story that the different people are telling, different people have different pieces of the story. Max, how you love it? Mwah. Max, this morning when I woke up and I opened my eyes, I said, this is like waking up in an enchanted 15th century castle. Max, you're such a gift. I felt like today when I woke up, I felt like I woke up in an enchanted castle, and it is. Love it. So when you, oh my God, I'm on a retreat, Max. I'm on the retreat. We're all on the retreat. And I feel like yesterday, I felt like exhale. That's how I felt when I got here. Like shoot, shoot, shoot. You know what Whitney Houston called it shoot. You know, that's when you exhale, right? So when I went to Dragon Gate Grotto, look it up, in China, there's something going on over there that is beyond your imagination. They have Buddhas, they have whole full scenes perfectly etched and carved into the stone, and it is ginormous, perfectly etched, way bigger than us, which would lead me to believe that the experiences, oh my God, I'm home. Pause. That PBG I'm always talking about. Pause, breathe, go with it. That PBG is always that's what I'm having now. I'm having a pause, right? God's guard girl said, and she's definitely glowing. Yay! Yay! I got into that lovely jacuzzi Max has here in his home. Oh, it's lovely. So lovely. So if you, which would lead me to believe that the talk of giants on this planet is very well founded. I would say that giants are there's definitely evidence for giants. And all the stories speak of giants that lived on the planet. Who is waiting to exhale? Today is an invitation reminding you to pause, exhale, and get ready to take off. That's exactly it. That when a plane lands, it's been going for a long time, maybe miles. When it lands, it gets serviced, it it gets checked out, it gets tweaked up, tuned up, it gets filled up again to take off. Yeah, I feel that. So when you look at the different strands of people that have a holy book, they're giving you different pieces of the story. And if you read the different holy books, you can start putting it together. And in Egypt, the holy books are on the temples. We don't have the Egyptian book in our hands other than what people have made, right? We don't have it in our hands other than what people have made. Yet we have the book, we have the stories because the stories are written on all the temple walls, and there's just tons and tons and tons. And it was written in papyrus, and we still have the papyrus because papyrus lasts forever. And from the plant. And we have it written out. We have it written out. So it's not in a book form. We have it. I knew the stories didn't fit when I went to the Vatican because there are hieroglyphs all over the place, and that was never talked about as a cradle Catholic. Come on. And why? I'm going to show you a picture. Why in St. Peter's Square, where I was the other day, why? I'm going to show you what's in St. Peter's Square. In front of St. Peter's Basilica, which you probably already know because you've probably already seen these pictures. What is that right there in St. Peter's Square? I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. What is that? An obelisk. And guess what they did? They put a cross on the top of the obelisk. And I liked it. I was like, there's Christian witchcraft right there. You got the ancient wisdom of the obelisk and the energy of the obelisk. The obelisk is actually a energy charging device. Well, energy pointing to it looks like a giant wand. An obelisk looks like a giant wand. There were something like, I think they said 70 obelisks over 70 obelisks all over Egypt. And guess how many there are now? Something like 7. Where are they? All over the world. Now, what I believe, that is exactly what you're talking about, isn't it, Jocelyn? That's right. And we who are looking at these things and saying, there's got to be more to the story than that. We who are asking the questions and digging deeper and looking and peering into the mysteries, you'll find it. You'll find the answers. The people that just sit there and have a Bible and let people just tell you what to think, or have any book and let people just tell you what to think and feed their dogma and doctrine to you. And it's fulfilling some ancient hate that you have in yourself or some insecurity that you have in yourself that you're really worse. So the religion tells you that you're better than other people, and you take it because you need that kind of food because your inner insecurities need to be fed. And so, or the ego needs to be fed, or something needs to be fed. And so you eat it. Here is uh, here is what I know. If you look in the Bible and you look in the Quran and you look at ancient Egypt and you look at the Torah and the Talmud, you need all these to come together. Warrior Nun, I freaking love Warrior Nun. What? Come on, Nola. I love Warrior Nun. Can't wait till the next one comes out. That's very fast. It's giving you tidbits. It's giving you tidbits. Netflix is full of tidbits. If you take the Bible as we have it, if you take the Holy Quran, if you take the Talmud and the Torah you have in the Bible because it's the first five books of the Bible, right? The Jewish Bible. The Talmud, which is the stories and the lore. I won't say lore in a way that it's not truth. I'll say the wisdom. If you take all four of these books and then you put them into history and you now add the Egyptian hieroglyphics, you start to get a very interesting story of what happened. And no, it wasn't a whale that swallowed a man. You start to get a very interesting story of what happened. And it definitely involved beings that came here from other places. Absolutely. And if we go over to Turkey, where we have Gobekli Tepe, which I have not yet seen, laid my eyes on, which I will, I a whole ancient city that knew that some kind of great disaster was coming upon the world. And so they buried the ancient city. How did they have the technology to do that? Billy Carson is onto it. Billy Carson told you all of this, and he told you for many years. Billy Carson has been telling people this for probably over 30 years. And if we don't accept it, then it's okay, because you don't have to accept anything you're told. As a matter of fact, I recommend that people don't accept anything they're told, that they go see for themselves. Go see for yourself. Go there and learn about it for yourself. There is a 16th century obelisk in Florence, really. The obelisk of the Corso de Cocci. Oh my goodness, you're going to try to get me to talk Italian now. Max, I can't even speak Italian. Or Guglu di Piazza, Santa Maria Novella. That is the same, or where the antique pharmacy is. Oh, and the perfumery and antique pharmacy. I'm going to see that. The obelisk of the Corsa dei Cocci. Okay. I'm just butchering Italian. I know it's nothing like Max's beautiful operatic romance language and way of speaking Italian. So all the Italians that are listening to me, let me apologize. But this American tongue just slicing up beautiful Italian words. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to check it out. So these obelisks, there were over 70 obelisks throughout Egypt. And now there are, I believe, 7. Where did they all go? They're all around the world. One is in Washington, D.C., as you all know. Well, how did the gods, this is my take on it, disseminate these obelisks all over the world? Now, some people have the story of they stole the obelisks from Egypt. They need to put them back. Nothing happens without the divine permission. Nothing. Just like, Black people, we like to say they should have never done the Middle Passage. They grabbed us from our land and put us on these ships and brought us to America. No, if it happened, there was some purpose and some perfection in it happening. I don't care how bad it looks on the human plane. If that had not have happened, we would not have Santeria. We would not have voodoo, Vodou. We would not have Candomblé. We would not have Palo. We would not have all of the African-based spiritual practices that we have and paths and religions and faiths that we have right now that, I got the God bumps, that connect us to the Orisha. We wouldn't have it. You wouldn't have Yoruba. You wouldn't have Ife if it wasn't for the Middle Passage. So while you may think that some white people came and did something horrible to some Black people, that's one way of looking at it. That's not the way I look at it. That's how some people look at it. But we won't talk about all the Black people that were enslaving all the Black people in Africa for years, eons, before any white person came to Africa. We don't talk about that part. Slavery is rampant on this planet. Have you noticed that we still have slaves? Every group of people has enslaved somebody. Nobody's innocent of slavery. Go find me one group of people that nowhere in their history at all did they even have any slaving, other than, I'm going to give you the exception right now, thank you spirit, the aboriginal kind of people, the aboriginal people of North America, which we would call the Native Americans or the First Nations, the Cherokee, the Sioux, the Lakota, all of these incredible First Nations. They didn't have slaving. And the First Nations, the Aboriginal people of Australia, the Aboriginal, they did not have that kind of consciousness or that kind of society or that kind of, what is the word? That wasn't in their way of operation. They were all earth-based people. And an earth-based person, if you're in touch with that tree and you're in touch with that plant, you are the Hopi. Yes, Mama Nika. All of these incredible people, they were not slaving because they were living on the earth. They were in tune with the cycles of nature. They were in tune with the stars, with the seasons, with everything. They kept themselves warm. They asked animals permission before they killed them. And would you feed our family? Would you give your life to feed our family? They prayed. They had the gods, and they wouldn't probably call them gods. They're spirits. Grandfather Sky, grandmother's spider. We have all of we have the Wakantanka. Wakantanka is the great spirit of the native peoples, right? And same thing, you find Aboriginal people everywhere. In Peru, you still have Aboriginal people, and these people were not slaving kind of people. If you look at everybody else, including Black people, stop trying to be victims and stop trying to be holier than thou and stop trying to paint it like white people were the problem. No, problem people are everywhere. If you're looking for problem people, all races, and if you're not looking for problem people, you won't find any. Wonderful people are everywhere. Wonderful Roman people, wonderful Chinese people, wonderful people in Hong Kong, wonderful people. Why? Because today's lesson 266 is my holy self abides in you, God's son. My holy self abides in you, Nigerian lady. My holy self abides in you, Scottish lady. My holy self abides in you, Irish man. My holy self abides in you. So, if we would get together and talk about these things, we would really become very, very dangerous. You know why we would become dangerous? Because then we would put the whole story together. You see, if Christians, Muslims, and Jewish people would stop fighting and say, hey, let's get together and compare our holy books. Let's put all our holy books together, because each one wants to think their holy book is the be all end all. It's not. Your holy book ain't the be all end all. Your holy book is one part of the puzzle. That's why I read a lot of the holy books. I want to read all of them because they have different puzzle pieces. And what they tell you in the Quran about Abraham is not in the Bible. And what they tell you about the angels that they tell you in the Talmud and the Jewish writings is not in the Bible. It's not. Yet you think the Bible gives you the whole story. It doesn't. No holy book gives you the whole story. First of all, the whole story is you. You are the whole story. You are the whole living emanation of Mother, Father, God of Source. That's it. There is only Source showing up as many emanations. Source wants to show up as this beautiful pine tree here. Source wants to show up as a rabbit. Source wants to show up as a fish. Source wants to show up as a sea bass laying on my plate the other day that I had that was probably the most delicious fish ever. And I tell you, Source shows up as the bee that came, and it's all Source. What of it is not Source? It's all Source. Yep, surprisingly, there are 11 of these ancient obelisks in Italy. Wow, part of the old Roman Empire. But this is the only one in Florence. 8 are in Rome. Wow, look at that. You see, they know the power that is in this thing, Mama Nika, the Sumerian tablets, the emerald tablets, the world fairs that were destroying ancient buildings. Billy Carson definitely is onto something, and he's definitely onto it. Because you got to really seek and get these answers. Max Tucci, the town of witches, Chioggia, Italy, the location of the last witch trials of Italy, known as the Salem of Europe. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Now that's someplace that looks like I need to be in. Woman King touched on the black on black slavery and many rituals. Hello, hello. Is Woman King that new movie about the African queen, the African ruler who was a fierce ruler? I am the whole story. Period. You want the whole story. If you never picked up a holy book, you would have the whole story. The whole story. The Bible even says it. It says the word of God is inscribed in everyone's hearts. It is one word. It's called love. When did we forget that word? When did we forget love? Not just for the people that look like you, not just for the people that you like, not just for the people that came from your country, not just for the people that were in slavery with you. Love is for everyone. 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 Walk the path of love. I'm going to conclude with this. To the Christian people, when you go like this, this, that means the Holy Cross. Yes, the Holy Cross, and that's what a lot of people do in prayer and whatnot. And when you do this, that's one way of looking at it. And I will give you another way of looking at it. Because there's many ways of looking at things, and I like to listen to people to see how they look at it, because that's going to add to me. That's going to help me look at it a different way. This cross. To the Aboriginal people of the northern continent that we call America. It wasn't America, we called it America. Anyway, to the Aboriginal people, this meant walking the red road, and this meant walking the black road. What are we talking about? Imagine a cross, and imagine top to bottom represents a road. We call this the red road. And imagine right to left, however you're seeing it on my screen, it's reversed. Right for me, it's right to left or left to right. This is the horizontal axis. This would be the black road. What does it mean? To be a pipe carrier, and I sat in a circle with a pipe carrier. First of all, to even be a pipe carrier in the First Nations of the United States, is not that they're First Nations of the United States. We call it the United States today. It wasn't that more than 200 years ago. This is a fairly recent unfoldment. Before that, it wasn't the United States. There was no name there was no ownership of it as a country. They didn't have the concept of owning countries. We made that up. Anyway, the First Nation said that if you want to be a pipe carrier and you want to walk the way, which is the red road, this is what it is. The top of the red road is spirit. At the bottom of the red road is your body. To the right, that's the up and down, that's the vertical axis of the red road. That's called the red road of the cross. Then you have the cross axis. The cross axis, or the horizontal axis, is black. That's walking the black road. That's going back and forth between your mind and your emotions. Mind on one side, emotions on the other. Just many people are on the black road. They're going back and forth between thoughts and emotions, thoughts and emotions, thoughts and emotions, thoughts and emotions. Where we are called to walk the red road, which is being an embodied spirit. Bam! Yes, you have emotions and you have thoughts. You're not just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on that road ruled by them. You are an embodied spirit. That's so delicious. When that pipe carrier broke that down to us, I was like, well, damn, that's ding, 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 ding. That's it. Everybody has a truthometer. A truthometer. When you hear truth, you're like, it rings. Something about what you just said. That's what I did when I was in that big circle with the pipe carrier. I was like, and then they passed the pipe and we smoked the pipe. Do you think people were in a pipe circle concerned about COVID? I don't want to get COVID from you. Can you put some plastic on this pipe? Can you get some antibacterial and put it in this bracket? Like I said, you're in a circle. They smoke the pipe and pass it to you. Are you going to be the one in the circle? Let me get out my hand sanitizer. Let me get out my wipes. I got to clean this. Looking at everybody else in the circle, suspect, with your wiping the disinfecting in a sacred circle. Disinfecting. I hope nobody does that when we go somewhere and they pass you something and somebody else drank from it or whatever. Communal cup is very common around the world, and it's a oneness, it's a harmony. I hope you don't go into, I ain't getting germs from all these people. That would not be the moment to do that. Highly inappropriate. You're in a sacred ceremony, and it has tobacco in it, and the tobacco has been blessed. And the tobacco is a very powerful spirit. It's a powerful plant spirit to the First Nations. And it was often used in prayer, making prayer ties with the tobacco. We'll talk about that another time. Tobacco and its many uses. And we still use it today, which is still used. Tobacco is a powerful, powerful, powerful substance. So anyway, when we were in that circle with the pipe carrier, she helped us understand, and she got her pipe from the pipe carrier before her, before he passed on. And then he gave her the pipe. When she said that, I made a decision. You know how you make a decision, right? Made a decision. And we're going to put Max's comments on here too. When I heard that, I made a decision. You know what the decision I made was when I heard that? I'm going to walk the red road. I'm going to walk the red road. I'm going to do all I can to walk this planet as an embodied spirit. Not one who is ruled by either my thoughts or my emotions in any given moment. And wow, has this whole jaunt that I've been on has helped me to get out of the head and out of those quick emotions that we always got ready. Those are not the rulers. I am an embodied spirit, a fully embodied spirit. And it doesn't mean that because you don't have all these emotions flaring all around, it doesn't mean that you're not vitally living. It doesn't mean that you walk around a robot. Well, if I don't have all of my emotions and all my thoughts, Val, what am I going to do? You're not going to be a robot, I promise you. You will be more alive with the essence of life and the vitality of a spirit, because spirit will be enlivening you. Spirit. Oh, it's just so delicious. Oh, it's so delicious. Oh, Max, walk the red road. Oh, Max, come on. I need to write that book. Come on. Hello. Oh, I need to take these comments in order. Yes, the whole story. Absolutely. Max said, let us be reminded the Enochian books that were eliminated from the Bible. And if you go get the forbidden books, you'll really find out some things that they want to tell you don't exist. Beings from other planets don't exist, giants, no. People, merm people, all these people have, a lot of these books have stories about people who live under the sea. They live there. Fascinating fact that the Duomo of Florence, the Duomo of Florence took 142 years to build. Hello. The octagonal shape of the Duomo was inspired by that of the baptistry across the street. I'm going to be looking at all that when I go out on my walk today. In regard to sacred geometry, when viewing the octagon, there are two shapes coming together as one, which is a circle and square. Ha, ha, ha. The circle represents heaven, and the square represents earth. Thus unifying these two energies through an infinite connection. Come on, preach, Max. Preach. And Mama Nika, the all. There's a lot of things that we don't understand. There's technology. Why can't humans say, we don't know how the pyramids were built? How come we can't say that in our history books? We've got to say they were built by these people and this people. And when you go and see it, it's clearly all made up. Why do we have to make up stories? Why can we not enjoy the things without making up stories about the things and then teach those stories to people as if they were law? And then people believed them as if they were law. No, go find out for yourself. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open to you. Ask and you will find the answer. I love you. Mwah. ValerieLove.com, coming to you from Max Tucci's beautiful home. Oh my God. In Florence, it just almost brings a tear to my eyes. In Florence, Italy. I'm with our Italian sisters and brothers. Let me go around today looking. I see my holy self in you. I see, here is my holy self. What if you walked around just looking at everyone? Here comes my holy self. It would change how we look at each other. It would change how we get along. It would change everything. Oh, look at my holy self. The person comes to bring your food. And here oh my goodness, the second I got to Florence, they're like, buongiorno. Oh my goodness. I was like, whoa, where am I? It was a totally different energy from Rome. It was a totally different energy from Venice. Buongiorno. Even at the train station. Oh my goodness, those ladies were so alive. They were so alive. Buongiorno. It was like watching a show or something. I'm like, oh, there's my holy self. Look at my holy self doing this. Look at if you look at everyone as your holy self is doing a lot and it's beautiful. It's lovely. I love you. I love you. I love you, family. God bless you. Have a beautiful day.